Welcome back. How did a federal agency that allegedly did not legally exist obtain recruitment approval, an administrative code, and recognition from some of Nigeria's most important government institutions? That is the question now confronting the House of Representatives, as fresh testimony reveals how documents that were allegedly forced passed through several layers of the federal government without being detected. The investigation has exposed what lawmakers describe as a disturbing failure of verification, internal controls, and official accountability. The controversy centers on the purported Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, PFIPC, and the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, PEAC. According to The Punch, the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating the matter says Prince Adeyemi Adeniyi presented himself as the Director General of the PFIPC and allegedly relied on fake appointment letters, fabricated legislative documents, and fictitious government offices to secure official recognition for an organization that had no legal foundation. The latest hearing produced one of the biggest admissions so far. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Wilson-Jack, acknowledged that her office did not conduct enough due diligence before granting an authorized establishment and a provisional recruitment waiver to the purported agency.
Mr. Chairman, in other words, what we are saying is that my office received the letter of appointment and the Establishment Act. And based on those documents and also based on the interaction with the representatives of the PEAC and PFICP, they went on to issue the authorized establishment and later the recruitment waiver. We now, having seen all the facts and observed all the documents, concede that we ought to have carried out more due diligence in the discharge of the duties of the office in issuing an authorized establishment and a recruitment waiver to the PEAC/PFICP.
Her admission raises serious questions about how documents presented by newly created government bodies are examined before approvals are issued. Wilson-Jack told the committee that representatives of the supposed agency attended the 2025 annual manpower budget, defense, and presented themselves as officials of a newly established federal institution. They reportedly submitted what appeared to be an establishment act and later appointing a director general. Based on those documents, her office proceeded with the application under the existing civil service procedure. However, after reviewing the documents during the investigation, the head of service admitted that the supposed Establishment Act did not appear genuine. Drawing on her years of legal experience, she said, the document lacked the appearance of a valid law. She also observed that the signature on the appointment letter attributed to the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, appeared different from signatures found on genuine official documents. The committee chairman, Yusuf Gadi, said police forensic experts had already examined the signatures and concluded that they did not match those of the genuine signatory. According to him, the difference was so obvious that there did not appear to have been an attempt to properly imitate the original signature. He therefore described the appointment letter not merely as forged, but as completely fake. Lawmakers also questioned the document presented as an act of the National Assembly. The committee observed that it lacked several essential features normally associated with valid legislation, including citation details, gazette references, and other identifying information. These omissions, according to the panel, should have raised immediate concerns before any government institution acted on the documents. Another major revelation came from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Officials explained that the office had received what appeared to be a legitimate request from the State House concerning the purported agency. As a precaution, the Accountant General's office said it addressed its response and the administrative quote the permanent secretary of the State House rather than sending it directly to the agency. But that safeguard reportedly failed. The letter never reached the permanent secretary. Instead, it was allegedly handed directly to Adeyemi, the man presenting himself as the Director General of the purported PFIPC. The committee argued that the correspondence reached the proper State House official. The alleged scheme might have been uncovered much earlier. The director of the Federal Project Financial Department in the Accountant General's office, Joshua Luka, described the incident as an individual failure rather than an institutional breakdown. When lawmakers demanded the identity of the official responsible, he named Bello Abdullahi, who was present at the hearing. Bello admitted that he handed the correspondence to Adeyemi, although the committee chairman stopped him before he could fully explain the circumstances surrounding the decision. The hearing also reviewed that a Directorate of Administration and Support Services named in some of the correspondence did not exist within the State House. This discovery added another layer to the alleged deception. Lawmakers questioned how official documents containing the name of a fictitious government office could be processed without anyone confirming whether that department was real. The case therefore appears to involve more than a single questionable letter. According to the committee, it reflects an alleged network of fabricated records, false identities, and invented government structures that succeeded in gaining attention from multiple federal institutions. The fact that several agencies reportedly processed the documents has raised wider concerns about whether Nigeria's verification system are strong enough to prevent similar schemes. While Jack maintained that officials followed the established procedure available to them at the time, she explained that her office processed documents from 88 ministries, departments, and agencies and had never previously encountered a case in which individuals allegedly presented a false establishment act and a fake appointment letter to create the appearance of a legitimate federal agency. Despite defending the procedure followed, she accepted responsibility for the failure to detect the irregularities. She promised that the office of the head of the civil service will review its internal system and introduce stronger verification processes to make future approvals more resistant to fraud. Her response suggests that the scandal may lead to major changes in how the government authenticates establishment documents and recruitment requests. The committee also expected the alleged Director General, Adeyemi, to appear before lawmakers. However, the Nigerian police force explained that he remained in lawful custody under a court order and could not produce without an appropriate reproduction warrant. Deputy Commissioner of Police Olufemi Akinola, representing Inspector General of Police Olatunji Disu, assured the panel that the police remained willing to cooperate once the necessary court process was completed. The hearing itself became tense, with frequent interruptions and sharp exchanges between the committee chairman and senior officials. Several witnesses were prevented from completing their explanations, while one committee member was reportedly stopped from making a contribution after the chairman struck the gavel. These scenes highlighted the intensity of the inquiry and the political pressure surrounding the unfolding scandal. The committee says it has nearly completed the fact-finding stage and intends to release preliminary findings before presenting a final report to the House of Representatives. Its recommendations are expected to include possible legal action against individuals found to have participated in the alleged fraud, as well as reforms to prevent non-existent or unauthorized agencies from gaining access to public systems. The biggest question is no longer simply whether the documents were false. It is how those documents moved so far through the federal government before serious questions were asked. As the investigation continues, Nigerians will be watching to see whether responsibilities is placed only on junior officials or whether senior institutions will also be held accountable for the failures that allowed the alleged scheme to advance. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this report insightful, kindly like, share, and subscribe for more news reports. I'm Chidera Isso. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next report.